gentlemen, welcome to the Comic Conspiracy, episode 230. Hey, Bryce is already off to a great start. What's happening? Episode 238 for the week of November 30th, 2015. We're actually recording a day early, Monday, so all you guys are going to get a special treat. We had to switch around some recording dates this week, so early episode. Enjoy. My name is Ryan Higgins. Who else is here with me this week?
Bryce.
Toby.
And that's it. That's a little lighter than normal cast because of our weird recording schedule. But yeah, we're going to have some weird recording dates coming up because of Christmas and holidays and all that crap. So deal with it. But yeah,
those
whatever.
of you familiar with the podcast will be used to it from the last every year.
Yeah, well, and also we used to be on Mondays for a very long time. So we're back to Monday. Yeah, remember? Yeah, Tuesday's a more recent thing.
With soccer practice and
yeah. But now we're back. Do you still play that soccer?
I do. I still play a lot.
So in May, I'm going on my honeymoon to
He's going to watch
a couple places,
in Ireland.
But Europe is one of the places. I'm sorry, but England is one of the places we're going.
Europe, I heard they play soccer there.
And apparently, I'm going to catch just the tail end of the Premier League season when we're there.
Wait, what month are you?
May.
Oh yeah, that will be the very tail end.
Yeah. So we're going to
go earlier and catch a little bit more.
Oh, we already bought our tickets, so I'm going to try.
I know that you're an Arsenal fan, aka fan like I'm a DC fan, so you should not be too disappointed to know that they are shitting the bed this season so far.
I've seen.
Yep, but keep up your strong support.
That'll just make the tickets a little cheaper. If they suck all
You're going to actually go to a game?
I'm going to try, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And like make them available as opposed to not. By that point in the season, if they were really hot.
Yeah, it'd be last game or two. So.
But I'm a Liverpool fan, so hopefully Arsenal are not doing well.
I'll go to any game that I can reasonably afford while we're there.
Leanne's going to go with you?
That would be.
She said she'd go.
Really?
Yeah.
That would be a pretty cool experience.
Magic.
no matter who you see, frankly, it'd be a pretty cool experience.
Yeah, I'm excited. So I know our friend Larry is actually going there very soon. Did you know this?
I texted with Larry today, and I did not know that.
Oh yeah, he's going to go see a bunch of games. So
good for him.
Yeah, I think he's going for like a week or something. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, this isn't the soccer podcast. This is the nerdy comic book podcast.
Or is it? It could be the soccer podcast.
Football podcast.
Basketball. The Warriors have not lost yet.
Dude, okay, so tonight they're in Utah.
Yes.
They're supposed to face their hardest challenge tonight of the...
Toby's got the game on his
phone.
It's
close. It's 53-48 right now as we record.
But I wanted to get your candid opinion of this road trip that they're on. What is it, 8 games road trip?
Yeah.
This is supposed to be their hardest night.
No.
A, do you think that they win or lose tonight? B, do you think that they go undefeated through the road trip? And C... When you're fucking like, they are 13-0 or 15-0.
18-0 now, right?
Fuck. They're 18-0. At some point in time, if I'm a professional fucking athlete, which I'm definitely not, but you I gotta think. Look, I'm in sales, and it's not that different if you think about it. I'm like,
you're gonna lose your funder?
It is super early in the year in the season. They go until fucking like May.
Yeah.
We are way ahead of quota in the sales terminology. When do we let another team?
Never.
No.
Every game, play to win, baby.
When do we let our foot off the gas? Because in sales and not sports, because I don't know what it's like in sports.
Let me just say this. They're doing so well that some of their superstars are sitting in the entire fourth quarter. They're not even playing the fourth quarter.
Dude, I heard that their first-round draft pick from last year, they're just like, fucking go get your surgery done that you need, bro, and fucking we'll see you in camp next year. Next year?
Yeah.
That's fucking crazy.
It's been very impressive, and I don't think they'll lose tonight. I don't know when they're going to lose, but they got some...
Well, you just fucked them.
No.
Dub Nation.
Yeah.
See, if you want them to lose, just have me bet on them that they'll win, and then they'll lose.
Yeah, probably.
So. I would, except that
I think
they're a Bay Area team, so I'm not sure that you would be able to do that.
I think the Toronto game is actually the hardest one.
Really?
I think Toronto.
Any sports bookie.
Well, they don't know what they're doing. I'm telling you, Toronto is, I think, the hardest game in this.
How do I transition this Warriors talk into a new Warriors discussion? There's got to be.
Well, have the new Warriors
you just
lost
did.
yet?
It's not that difficult, dude.
The new Warriors never lose.
Speedball. Oh, so I went to see James Bond last night. The fucking Spectre.
Yeah,
dude. By the way,
heard not that great.
I have to disagree. It was.
I mean, I haven't seen it, so I have no idea.
Okay, that's fair. So
were you gonna say it's not
but I
that
don't
great
fully
until he
disagree.
said it, and then you had to disagree?
No. I was gonna say that I think that it's the third best of the Daniel Craig 4, but I do think that it was leagues above Quantum Solace.
Everyone hates that one.
I thought that Skyfall was fucking really great. I thought the Casino Royale. It's tough to say because it's like Iron Man 1, where it's like Iron Man 1 of all the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. I'm like, I really liked Iron Man 1, and I still think that it's one of the top. I don't even fucking know. Top 5. Like,
so this should have been our pre-recording.
Dude, I gave you ample opportunity to come up with a topic for our mini cast. But it's tough with like firsts, like like Batman Begins and Iron Man 1 and Casino Royale and many other movies that are like, I just did, two apples and an orange right there. But it's tough because like Casino Royale was so different that, it couldn't be compared with anything else. Anyway, I think that it was really good. I'm a huge sucker for when a movie ties its predecessors back to each other. So Avengers, it gets bonus points for me because of the previous Marvel Cinematic Universe movies. Batman 3 gets credit for me because of Batman Begins and Dark Knight Rises more than it probably did from anybody else.
Dark Knight or Dark Knight Rises?
Dark Knight Rises gets more credit from me
because of the first two.
Because of the first two. And so Spectre for me, for those of you that don't know or maybe don't give a fuck, gets credit for me because it ties back the previous 3, and I didn't know this before last night, the previous 3 Daniel Craig James Bonds, Casino Royale, Quantum of Solace, and Skyfall are all tied in to Spectre. And Spectre is sort of a prequel to all the other Roger Moore, Timothy Dalton, Sean Connery, all those other James Bond movies. I didn't know that going into last night's movie. But the fact that it is. So anyway, that's a personal thing. I'm kind of a sucker for when they tie movies back.
Daniel Craig movies are actually in front of all the other ones?
Chronologically speaking, they are, but there's a whole mini cast to be recorded possibly about, or maybe not. Ryan's rolling his eyes.
James Bond episode.
About how Judi Dench was the M for the Pierce Brosnan James Bonds, but she was also the M for the Daniel Craig James Bond. So it's like, well, how can she be the M? Because she dies in the spoiler alert for Skyfall. She's the M for Daniel Craig James Bond, but she's also the M for Pierce Brosnan, which the idea is that chronologically Daniel Craig's James Bond takes place before all the other James Bonds. Wow. And if you've seen Spectre, you know what I'm talking about. Blofeld. Anyway, that's all very confusing. But how did I start talking about this?
Gonna have to spoiler cast this episode here.
I kind of feel like we gave it a little bit of spoiler notification due to the ample. I don't know.
It's a spoiler type just by saying hello. This is Ryan Higgins, and this is this week's podcast.
It's kind of like, look, if you're listening to a comic book podcast and we start talking about James Bond, you kind of expect to be spoiled because it's so out of the blue. I don't know. I have no excuse.
Let's talk about some comic book stuff here.
Sorry, I'm not sorry. Oh my god. Can we talk about comic books? Can we talk about X-Men 600?
Oh yeah, I want to hear. Okay, no. Okay.
Do you want to talk about it later?
No. We can totally talk about it right now if you want. Speaking of spoilers, I know Bryce had wanted to talk about X-Men 600. I have actually not had a chance to read it yet. I haven't read.
Don't waste your time.
Well, I haven't read shit this last 2 weeks because of we had local comic shop day this past weekend, which I'll talk about later in the episode. We had a sale. We had all this crap going on. So I am like. Even my current, the stuff from the last week or two, I'm woefully behind on. So, but you were raging at me about this episode, or about this issue, so I want to...
About this episode, I like it.
I want to talk about 4 things over the course of tonight. 1 is X-Men 600. 2 is Secret Wars 6. 3 is Secret Wars 7. 4 is all of the spin-offs. Let's start with...
do X-Men. And then we can talk about Secret Wars 6 and 7 briefly, because there's news about 9. But we'll get to that in a minute.
Dude, everybody's heard your fucking news about 9. Nobody gives a fuck. Like, you are the worst.
It's a news topic. We got to talk about it.
It's a news topic nobody didn't see coming.
So what I understand about X-Men 600 is that there is no reason this couldn't have been published like 7 months ago.
Yep, totally hate to, but agree.
Nothing is spoiled. It doesn't change
spoiled.
anything. It doesn't affect anything.
Everybody, including myself, was wondering what the fuck happened with Cyclops and the Phoenix Egg. Oh my! Sorry.
Settle down there. Settle down.
Sorry, I had a long weekend. I was fucking wondering. Secret Wars #1 is awesome because it has Cyclops coming in with the fucking Phoenix Egg, and myself and all X-Men lovers and probably other people were like, this is awesome. Like, what the fuck is this? A Phoenix Egg? What even is that? We haven't seen that since X Factor 56 or whatever. That's a wildly inaccurate.
Check out the Fantastic Four issue?
No, but it crosses over in a couple different issues.
Yeah.
All right. So I was
Avengers, right?
No. There's a Fantastic Four,
right?
An Avengers, an X Factor, and then I'm pretty sure a fourth one. I forget, but anyway, it comes out it hasn't shown up since then, and so it shows up in Secret Wars 1, and we're like, what the fuck? This is awesome. What does this mean? Happens in issue 600, which is supposed to be some milestone issue. Dude, let me just say this: Brian Michael Bendis. Look. I've thought about this a lot. I have a hard time saying I hate Brian Michael Bendis because I've shown him so much love, and I really do love, for the most part, what he's written in the past. And also,
can I suggest?
I'm not gonna ever say whenever you hear me say I hate something, it's always with the asterisk that is I'm talking about fucking comic books. When I say I hate Brian Michael Bendis, I'm talking with the asterisk of comic books. I obviously don't hate the guy. I don't fucking know him.
Can I make a suggestion?
Yeah.
I don't hate Brian Michael Bendis at all. Actually, I've kind of turned the corner on him. But I came to a realization.
Too late.
Well, I used to really like him. Then I really didn't like him. Now I kind of like him.
You
again.
Actually never really liked him. Okay, keep going.
I've had this conversation. If you asked me, 1999 or 2000, my three favorite writers were Brian Michael Bendis, Warren Ellis,
before he took over Avengers, which is before he did actually anything. Keep going. Just
Ultimate
finish your
Spidey
thing.
and everything. Okay, anyway, here's my problem with Bendis. Guy can't finish a story. He's a little like Hickman. Can't finish a story.
Straczynski?
That's different. He just doesn't finish his stories.
Yeah.
When Bendis finishes the story, it just kind of flops. It doesn't. There's not a satisfying conclusion on
Moffat
on his big books.
All right, let me tell you something.
I don't know if you agree with that or not.
I completely agree.
2 for 2, baby.
It's kind of like strikers in the British Premier League. There are 90% of the best strikers are great footballers, the best footballers you've ever seen. But there are even a fraction of those are the ones that are actually able to reliably execute. Suarez was one of them. Sergio Aguero for Man City is one of them. Who else? Benteke was allegedly one of them, but Liverpool signed him for £30 million, and he's had some fucking great finishes, but not as many as would be expected. Anyway, the point is that you say Hickman's not a good finisher, Bendis isn't a good finisher. I mean, I would say that even fucking Johns is 50-50 on his finishing. He has some fucking great finishes, but he also has some fucking barn finishes. My point is that it's much easier to have a good story than to execute on the finale. Oh, you know who barns the finishing worse than all these combined is Jeff Loeb. He has fucking barned some finishes in his life like nobody. So the reason that I sort of take umbrance to that statement is that it's not really fair to call somebody out on their finishing if the story has been so good. And so I'm 50-50 with you in that.
But that's the end, right? That's the finale. If you don't stick the landing, what's the point?
So it's sort of like a roller coaster that has a meh ending. Did you enjoy the ride? Because, dude, don't argue that you fucking did enjoy the ride. And the ending is meh, and that disappoints everybody. But that doesn't mean that the fucking ride wasn't good. So, I won't say that it was a fucking 10 out of 10. I would never say that. You know what was a 10 out of 10? It was a fucking Infinity Gauntlet and all those book clubs that we ever gave 10 out of 10s to. This is not going to be a 10 out of 10 book club.
And you know what's funny? Well, what's funny about Infinity Gauntlet, that's a story that stuff happens before it, and it doesn't. I mean, it has a conclusion, but it keeps going. That was a book that ended in the story itself, but the gems are still out there. Thanos was still out there. Things kept going, but it felt a conclusion to the story. And I find it hard that, I find it that a lot of these people have a hard time wrapping up their story in the ongoing saga of these characters, and that's what I understand. X-Men 600 again. Back to 600.
Okay, so
actually talk about it.
So okay. Anyway, I just wanted to sort of get that metaphor out there, which I didn't think of until literally 30 seconds ago. But I do think that they have a problem with finishing their stories. I do think that Hickman's Avengers ending could have been stronger, although I don't think that it was as weak as you did. I thought that Bendis's Avengers ending was fucking so lame.
There's all the Wasp stuff, right?
Dude, so allow me to get into X-Men 600. Speaking of your Wasp comment, whatever.
That's how that was his last arc in Avengers, right?
Yeah, like the worst arc ever, concluding the worst semi-arc ever. Like, there's so many problems with Bendis' last year. Look, here's my problem, is that I have been the biggest defender of Bendis on this podcast for fucking days.
Can we just move on to the next topic? Can we just move on? Please?
He's done a lot of great shit. Including in this run. But, dude, Avengers, do you guys remember his ending run with Avengers? Like, he literally in the it's like a fucking professor with tenure, or a fucking somebody I don't have a good example with their pension, where they just shit on their job as they're like, once their job security is in place. Like, once Avengers, like once all the crazy shit happened, like he had great shit, like Civil War and Secret Invasion were some of the best stories Marvel's had in fucking decades. But then Siege was like a great idea, and I still believe...
So Uncanny X-Men 600.
I still believe that the idea of Sentry was a great idea. I just believe that something got fucking cocked up in the middle of it, that like, there was... I honestly think that there's maybe just too much haterade coming from people like Higgins that just didn't allow... Hold on. That just didn't allow Sentry to like... Like, there's too many people saying, like, hashtag Superman clone. That's you, by the way. That's your voice.
Hold on. The original Sentry stuff was fantastic. All the Paul Jenkins stuff. I really like that. It's when they put him in the Avengers and they try to bring him into the main universe, there was no reason for that to happen. That's when he sucked.
So then all of a sudden, like, I'm reading Marvel books, and fucking Asgard is over Oklahoma City, and all of a sudden, like, Norman Osborn is, like, you know, in charge of the planet, and, you know,
he's
good
ordering, stuff, too.
Like, it was all good. Like, the Dark Avengers, that was such a great fucking twist out of Secret Invasion. But then all of a sudden, I don't know, it just, at some point in time, it just turned to shit. And
then Uncanny X-Men 600 was published.
Hold on. And then, like, in the course of 12 months, Bendis from Siege goes to, like, literally fucking talk about disassembled. He goes to dismantle everything he ever did in the course of Bendis' Avengers, and I wish that I had this written down because I'd be much more eloquent. But he kills Hawkeye, he kills Scarlet Witch, he kills a bunch of fucking people. He kills Wasp. He kills a bunch of fucking people that by the end of his run, 100% of Bendis' deaths are undone, and it's like, what the fuck, dude? Your fucking great storytelling had no consequences?
Well, it's just like the Thor arc. What was that event? The
Ragnarok?
one. No. The miniseries, the one that everyone else, Fear Itself. That at the end.
No, that's not even a fair comparison because that happened within 4 issues. This is like years.
Oh, I know, but they did the whole story. They did all this stuff, and then the little one shots that followed it, they switched everything back.
No, I know, but that happens all the fucking time. I'm talking about how this was like many, many years in the making. Bendis was running Avengers for like, what, 7 years?
At least, yeah.
He's fucking running Avengers for like 7 years. He killed off more Avengers than were like survived. Like, and then at the end, in the last year, in the last 12 months, he undoes every death. It's crazy.
Did Jack of Hearts come back?
Probably. I don't even remember. But, like, he has some non-effectual storyline with the Infinity Gauntlet. The Infinity Gauntlet should be editor-in-chief, like, asterisk to be like, you can only have this in your story if it's like a line-wide event storyline, or if it's gonna last like over a year or something. Like, he had a fucking Infinity Gauntlet storyline that lasted less than 12 months. He fucking ended up, like, his last 2 or 3 months of Avengers was like, oh, and just in case you thought I was gonna leave one person dead, I'm bringing back Wasp in like 2 comics. And it's fucking, what the fuck? So anyway, that aside, I had great hopes for what the potential was for X-Men, and he did a lot of great stuff with the X-Men. And like, I still think that having the original X-Men is a cool idea. I think that what he did with the X-Men villains was a really cool idea. He had some great moments in a lot of the X-Men stuff, but fucking X-Men 600, dude, fuck you. What the fuck is this? So it opens with Beast, which opens, so you literally could read All New X-Men #1 and then X-Men 600, which sounds like, oh, I probably missed a lot. You didn't miss anything. It starts, All New X-Men #1 starts with like Beast feeling super emo about his behavior in getting the All New X-Men back.
Yeah, that's all they've done with him for like 3 years.
Meanwhile, there's like quasi/half storylines with Beast over the past several years of our human lives. And then X-Men 600 has more Beast in it than all of those issues combined, literally. So X-Men 600, they want to have all of the X-Men, including the new X-Men, the old X-Men, the X-Men from the 80s, every X-Men.
Thank God for Levelator, Jesus.
Wants to have an intervention with Beast over his behavior. And it's like, where have you been these past, what is All New X-Men, what was it up to before they renumbered?
44, I think.
Where have you been these last 44 issues? Thank God that they have him looking more like Beast than Frank Quitely did, by the way. But anyway, it's about the whole issue is so fucking aggravating. It's about an intervention with Beast. It's punctuated by flashbacks from Colossus, who's like butthurt that Kitty Pryde is now married to fucking Star-Lord, and it's like, first of all,
gotta put a ring on it. Gotta put a ring on it, Kitty.
First of all, Bendis, you're the one that fucking put Star-Lord with Kitty Pryde, you fucking loser. So it's like,
hey, I love that.
So do I.
I'm a Star Pride shipper.
Star Pride shipper. Okay. That's fine.
What's our Star-Lord, Kitty Pryde, Star Pride?
Oh, it's Kitty Lord.
Kitty Lord?
Obviously.
Okay. Star Pride?
So, no, Kitty Lord.
Kitty Lord? Hashtag Kitty Lord or hashtag Star Pride?
Anyway, so, I also like that. Reading the Star-Lord stuff. The Star-Lord book was actually good, and that was written by Bendis for a time, and, wait, is that... Fact check, is that actually true? Anyway,
yes.
There's a flashback with Colossus, and he's like super butthurt that Kitty's married to him. It's like, bro, you had 1,000 years to marry Kitty Pryde, or at least to like. It just kind of fucking annoys me that Chris Claremont had like 20 years of character development between Kitty Pryde and Colossus, and then like Joss Whedon even comes in and has them fuck for the first time, which Chris Claremont, how did you miss that boat? And then it's like all his chemistry between them for fucking literally human decades. Bendis is like, oh, Star-Lord within a year or two is all of a sudden marrying Star-Lord. It's like, what the fuck? So there's this flashback with Colossus where he's like, I hope you're really happy with Star-Lord. But it's like, Colossus, you're the fucking bigger asshole. Meanwhile, this Colossus story is being written by Bendis. What the fuck? So, anyway, then there's another flashback story with Jean Grey and Beast. And Jean Grey professing her love to Beast, and Beast being all emo that she's playing hard to get and being coy, which, spoiler alert, Beast, every woman is gonna act coy. Like, have you not met women, Beast? Actually, that, maybe he didn't.
Wait, isn't that the young X-Men?
It is. But even by the time you're a fucking teenager, early 20s, Beast, you gotta have met girls, you know that they're all playing this game. Learn the game, Beast. Learn the game. And then they're fucking kissing in the sky, and Cyclops is looking from on far, and it's like, what the fuck? This is not the characters that have been developed for the past fucking 50 years, Brian Michael Bendis.
So by the way, we have one vote for Star Pride and one vote for Kitty Lord so far.
Already?
Yep.
Jesus, you got to listen to me more and stop. Anyway, they're fucking kissing in the sky. Cyclops is looking. It goes back to fucking more flashbacks with Beast. Then all of a sudden, all the magic is like, oh, she shows up in the middle of this Beast intervention, which is the most ridiculous thing ever, leading to the most, even more ridiculous thing ever, which is that Magic wants to summon everybody to the fucking White House lawn where Cyclops is addressing the whole mutant population and the world about how, like, finally, I've done our job and peace has been achieved. And in the middle of his rant about how mutants' peace has been achieved, Magneto shows up, and you would think Magneto would be like, let me rain on your parade because this is crazy. Magneto flies down on the White House lawn and shakes Cyclops' hand. What the fuck? This is not in character of Magneto. He's shaking Cyclops' hand. Cyclops looks up at the sky and smiles. Like, what the fuck is going on? They're bro hugging about how they've done their job. Neither one is happy with the job that they've done. Neither one has achieved what they've wanted to do. And then it ends with Beast, the end of his fucking intervention, about how he's just gonna slink out the back and he's really fucking emo with himself. And the story that began it all, which is the intervention of Beast, he fucking, like, goes out the garage and drives away, and it just, like, looks on sorrowfully. And that was the whole premise of X-Men 600. And I haven't even gotten to the whole Iceman thing. You want to take a character that has been around for 50 years and in one comic book make him gay because you have to fucking, like, mix it up or, flip the tables or whatever you fucking want to do. It's like, it was already crazy enough that, like, new X-Men was, or new Iceman, all new Iceman was gay. And it's like, look, I disagree. I feel like you should make characters that are compelling of their own sake and, like, they happen to be gay. I don't think that you should take a character that we've grown up with for 50 years and sort of shoehorn homosexuality into their character. I think that's a fucking bullshit thing to do. But for all new X-Men, Iceman, it's like, okay, well, maybe he's a different guy. He's gone through different things. Two roads diverge in a wood. What is that poem? There's some poem about that. But, like, to fucking, like, make the Iceman that we all know gay in one comic book, Iceman who's literally had more relations than Angel, Beast, Cyclops, and Jean Grey possibly even put together. No, I don't even know, but, like, at least all of them individually, he's had a bunch of relationships in the past. It's like, whoa. So let me get this straight.
Wasn't he going out with Mystique for a while?
He was going out with Mystique. He was, I think, even under Bendis' run, dating Kitty Pryde.
Yeah.
He dated Polaris at one point. There was some, I don't know if she was Hoppa or if she was Asian girl during the X Factor days. Like, this fucking guy has been around more than any other X-Men. But in one comic book, Bendis is like, oh, let me flip the switch. He was gay. You know what it's like? It's like when Morrison, your fucking hard-on boy, wanted to make Beast gay. And years later, Cyclops had that jab about, like, remember when you thought you were gay? That was funny. Yeah. I hope that this fucking comes back and, like, they do a little jab at this because they fucking, in one comic book, he, like, tries to make him gay. And it's like, dude, you are the worst writer ever. This is what we waited for all this time? Like,
so Bendis, actually, I want to say at least a month ago, maybe... Oh, I'm sorry. At least a month before this was published. So probably about a month and a half, almost 2 months ago. On his Tumblr, had to, like, they have, like, the Ask Me Anything sort of things on there. One of the questions was, so seriously, what is up with Uncanny X-Men 600? And his reply, I mean, obviously I'm paraphrasing here. He said, it's been finished. Marvel has it. They'll publish it when they're ready. It's been finished for, probably... It should have been out when it came out. Like, there's no reason this wasn't published. I don't know why they held it back. It makes no sense.
Yeah, makes no sense. So they did do a bunch of different artists. I don't know if they wanted to sort of as an homage. Because, look, Marvel indubitably respects this guy a fucking ton, right? He's their fucking number one, I think, still. Inexplicably. Anyway. And so they wanted to maybe give him a fitting send-off because they could charge an extra $1 per book. And whether or not they released it in November or October, it was going to sell.
What about May when it was scheduled to ship?
Sure, but my point is that they had so many artists doing so many different things. I actually don't believe that Bendis was done with this. I believe that he was not being fair to the artists when he probably said that it was ready to go. Obviously I don't fucking know. But my point is that like there was no revelations in this. This felt like a fucking mail ordered in. That's not fair either. It felt like a cheap comic book, and it felt like I paid $6 plus tax for a cheap fucking comic book with a bunch of different artists, and the art was good, but the story was fucking not good, and it didn't even build on what we've been working with. Like all the storylines he's had going, it didn't deal with Havoc and Cyclops. It didn't really deal with the new X-Men. Like there's a line in there about like what the fuck do we do now that Bendis isn't writing us? Without those last couple words.
How excited are you for the all new X-Men book that ships this week by Dennis Hopeless and Mark Bagley? Is there a building high enough you want to jump off of?
I recently hate Mark Bagley, not even that recently. So I will buy it, but we'll see. I actually unlike you, I like Lemire's and Ramos's Extraordinary X-Men.
I felt like it was like we're missing an issue. We're missing. I have no idea what they're talking.
So there's a fucking line in that that number one where she talks about like what Cyclops did, and it's like, Storm, didn't you fucking read Uncanny X-Men 600? He didn't do anything. I wish you fucking did read it, because you would know that the reader that you are talking to through your fucking story has no idea what Cyclops did. Right. Great question, Storm. What did Cyclops do? Because nobody fucking knows. And she's talking to the portrait of Professor X, and it's like, yeah, everybody wishes that we knew what Cyclops did. Because other than stand on the White House lawn and get bro-hugged by Magneto for some shit that he didn't do, what the fuck are you talking about that he did? Are you talking about that he made peace with mutants and humans, or that he made mutants more important than they were when he started? Like, what a fucking cop-out, lame-ass, like that. What? Anyway, dude, look, it was a bad issue. In case I haven't made my feelings clear, I wish that you know what? I don't even want my $6 back. I just want to have had a better story in the past.
You want that eighth of an inch of a long box back?
I mean, not even. Like, I'll take it or leave it. Anyway, Secret Wars 6 was terrible. Secret Wars 7 was great.
So 6 was the issue where
nothing fucking happened.
Right, nothing fucking happened. Right. Okay. 7
was the worst.
What again? Did I miss something? Between 6 and 7, there's like a giant hole. In 6, they're like, okay, maybe something's happening with Doom. I don't really know. They don't really get into it. And then 7, the fucking forces of the world are attacking Doom, and it's like, wait, when did this happen?
Well, that's fair. So I guess.
I mean, were you supposed to read the end of all the miniseries?
I was going to kind of ask you guys, because, dude, the reason that 6 makes me so angry...
It was a really bad issue.
...is because, like, there's a bunch of shit in there that directly contradicts the miniseries.
Yeah.
Like, there's, like, all of the Beyond the Wall stuff isn't addressed at all. There's a fucking scene in there where Maestro is, like Doom is saying something like, "Are you all still obeying me, Barons?" and shaking his finger at them, and they're like, "Oh no, yeah, we love you, bro."
And then in the next issue,
and Maestro is like I don't know, but I forget exactly what he says. Toby could probably tell me, but he says something along the lines of like, "No, it's all good." But if you fucking read the fucking Maestro story in Future Imperfect, you would know that, like, not only is shit not okay with Maestro, he can't wait to take over Doom's situation, but, like, the ending of the Maestro story, which happened literally months ago, was...
I like the Future Imperfect, too.
It was a great story, and then it ended where he thinks he took... Spoiler alert for Future Imperfect. Pause or fast forward if you don't want to listen to it. But Future Imperfect ends with him, like... in a fucking, like, basically mind controlled to thinking that he took over Doom and that he beat Doom, and he's in, like, this perpetual, like, mind controlled state.
He's like in a trap or something, or but like they don't address that in any way, shape, or form. In
like
Secret Wars.
he kicks Doom's ass, but it's all in his mind,
right?
And then everybody in the comic, like, leaves the room because he thinks that he's won against Doom, and everyone's like, okay, that's great, we're gonna go now, because...
And then, like, that's it.
Yeah, and he's in this room alone by himself with fucking Rom boy.
Yeah. He's not like in a cell, but he's like literally just kind of like he's sort of trapped with his own mind.
With the ancient one. What's his name?
Yeah.
I'm fucking brain farting on Hulk's and Cap's friend.
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
Ricky Gervais.
What?
No, it's Rick
Ricky
something.
Jones.
Rick Jones.
Rick Jones, yeah.
Rick Jones. So anyway, dude. Look, so that's annoying. The whole Infinity Gauntlet story is contradictory with what Black Panther finds at Stephen Strange's like island getaway. The fucking like Apocalypse situation, like Apocalypse is in a bunch of issue 6 and 7, and like if you've read Age of Apocalypse, like things aren't going as peachy as he makes it seem. Some of fucking Assad Ribic, man, I fucking love Assad Ribic, but fuck, man, like some of that art is just like, and Ryan Troll tweeted about this actually, dude, it was like a fucking like over a month ago
or something.
Where like Sue Storm has this burn face, and
it's
then
some bad art.
Well, there's a second one
in issue 7.
There's also some great art.
Well, it's funny because issue 7, the art kind of goes back to normal. Like I had no problem with the issue 7, but 6 had some
there was
weird
at least
fucking
two
art.
Weird fucking like pieces of art in issue 6.
The worst Mr. Sinister I think I've ever seen in my life is issue
that
6.
was bad. And can somebody please? I hate saying these words. Can somebody please tweet at me or something about Sinister says something to Captain Marvel about how she's his sister. He says, "Yes, sister. Let's go do this." What the fuck? Like, can you please explain this to me? Because
I don't remember.
I'm a relatively big X-Men fan, and I don't think that they're brother and sister in any capacity. And I could be wrong, and I would love to be wrong. But what the fuck was that? Also, what kind of annoys me is in the art, I don't know if you've seen every single fucking like dark page, you can see like the back and forth pencil sketches.
Because there's no inking or anything. It's
right.
No cleanup.
So like on one hand, I get that and I like it because it's kind of raw. It's more raw. I like that part, but it's everywhere. And it's like, ugh, you couldn't have fucking like cleaned it up for some of them. Like I like
they're being cheap and fast. I don't care. This is the new style.
No. I think that they're being stylized. I think it's intentional. But like, it's also kind of like, can you not do it every time? Let's see here. What else is fucking annoying? I mean, in the fucking issue 7. So there's a lot of like, what the fuck happened? Because in issue 6, it's like there's this prophet. Like, where the fuck did this come from? I thought that it happened in one of the minis. There's a bunch of contradictory stuff in terms of like, all these armies are gathering and all this shit's happening with the Illuminati and the Cabal, that it's like, when did this all happen? And like, I would have loved to, but issue 6 starts off, the front page says 3 weeks later. And it's like, okay, that's great. So what you're telling me is that you don't want to like tell the story? Like, you're the storyteller and this is what you're saying is that you don't want to tell the story? Like, that's kind of fucked.
Like there's some severe part of the story that is being left out, and I don't know if it's just we got to get to the end, or if they just paced it wrong.
I think that they just paced it wrong because, dude, fucking issue 7 is fucking awesome. If you're able to, and this is a big fucking if you're able to forgive issue 6 for all of the fucking jumping ahead and like, what the fuck, when did that happen? But issue 7, like, it is fucking everybody against everybody. The Barons basically fucking Doom's Barons are like choosing sides, and like, is Sinister on Doom's side or the Rebel side, or but Apocalypse, I feel like, is on Doom's side or the Rebel side. Sinister, Captain Marvel, fucking the Thors have to decide if they're on Doom's side or the Rebel side. It's like, it's great. Well, dude. If you're able to forgive all the fucking like plot holes in between, which is a tough pill to swallow but doable.
So here's my problem with how this is set up, and again, kind of that not sticking the landing. If you read the miniseries, all the specials in miniseries, you kind of get the idea that, some people are kind of coming out of Doom's spell, but they don't really... It's not like every miniseries ends with, and next we attack Doom. Like, only a couple of them kind of even hint at it. None of them really end with, and now shit's going down. Because none of them ended like that, as far as I remember. At least the ones I read.
Dude, you're not wrong, and I kind of blame Marvel's release schedule on this shit.
Well, not only that. So if you read issue 6 to 7, like, again, we know, because we know the story going on of why this is, outside of comic books, all the guys sort of wake up and they start fighting Doom. But they don't explain this within like the context of the Secret Wars miniseries really itself, right? So it's like, I feel like, again, kind of like like the Extraordinary X-Men, it's like I feel like an issue went missing somewhere. Like there's a big chunk of exposition that never happens to kind of explain the setup. Again, you can infer some stuff, but that's not good storytelling. So
yeah, I don't disagree with that. I mean,
I'm curious what they're gonna. I am excited for the wrap up. So the news story here, and I'm not trolling. I think we all called this. It's actually
he's been waiting to fucking say this.
No.
He has
no.
been.
I've got.
You have been waiting to say it all night long.
Well,
you posted it fucking like days ago on Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh well,
Just to us. Tell everybody. Everybody can't wait to hear your troll
the
comment.
Secret Wars number 9 officially delayed till 2016 at this point, so it's coming out the second week of January now. I think it's like the 8th or 9th or something. So yeah, we're even more delayed to end this story, and we're gonna have like issues 4 and 5 of some of these fucking books.
But dude, it doesn't. I mean,
I know it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Like none of these stories have betrayed the ending, and like that's sort of the.
But we know the ending, right?
Like it is annoying. I'm not saying it's not annoying. I'm not saying it's not lame. It is lame.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it's a fucking comic book story. It's a comic book story. Like
it's not like we don't know how
things are going to go back to normal. This isn't going to this isn't going to Old Man Logan's an Extraordinary X-Men, but that's not going to spoil the ending of the fucking roller coaster.
Yeah, I mean we know how this book is going to end. Things get reformed. So
right, exactly.
And
but that doesn't make the roller coaster.
And Reed doesn't make it out in some fashion.
Doesn't mean that. Yeah, but yes, Reed will not make it out. But in what capacity? Neither of us have any idea.
Yeah,
and we can only hope that the fucking roller coaster is as good as it can be, and we'll ride it out, and we both will.
Yeah.
And we can only hope that it's going to be as good as it can be.
Well, while you take a breath and breathe and finish your burrito and take a drink of water or beer,
can't imagine that without
whatever it is.
Accepted.
Whatever it is. I want to talk briefly about this past weekend where we had the first annual local comic shop day. I did mention this, I think on the last couple episodes. And so if you know Free Comic Book Day, this is a thing that happens every year where a bunch of comic stores get together and everyone gives out free comics that are provided to us at a minimal cost from the distributors and the publishers. So for Free Comic Book Day, it's all about trying to get new people in, kids, kind of, it's a good outreach. Local Comic Shop Day is sort of our version of Record Store Day, which was kind of taken from Free Comic Book Day, but is a day of exclusive vinyl reissues of records, limited edition print runs of collectors, live stuff, bootleg kind of reissues, things like that. So Local Comic Shop Day is taking that element and bringing it to comic books. So this is the first year they're doing it. It's run by Comics Pro, which is one of the retailer organizations I belong to. And it's about the collectability or kind of a more limited nature of some comics. So it's all variant covers, special edition hardcovers. There's a company called Black Mask Studios that had a box set of a bunch of special hardcovers, a bunch of special soft covers and first issues of some of their new series. So, if anyone did get a chance to go out to their local shop for Local Comic Shop Day, I'd be curious to see what people think. So you can always send us an email, thecomicconspiracy@geekbox.net.
How was it, though? Did you get a lot of people? Or
Yeah, so we ran a sale the same day, kind of a limited, it's...
so you don't know if they came in for the sale or for Local Comic Book Shop Day?
Right, that's sort of the question. We definitely had a lot of people here that were here just for that stuff. Definitely a lot of people here just for the sale. But most people, I think, were here for kind of a mix of both. Had we run it just that, I don't think it would have done nearly as well, obviously, since we only sold out of a couple of the real limited books.
Yeah.
We did give away our 2 copies of the Wolverine #1 black and white sketch edition, which, was like a $200 book on eBay right now.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
And we gave away our 2 to 2 random customers. I picked some numbers beforehand, and whatever customer number that was, they made a purchase. They got it.
Cool.
So... I'm curious. I think next year we're going to get more things like statues, toys, probably some vinyl pops.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
I want a Ryan Higgins pop.
Oh, geez.
So when I'm angry, I could throw it out the window.
Just get a Big Bang Theory pop, right?
Oh, yeah.
We were talking about...
That's actually a good idea. I will do that. I'll rename Sheldon into Ryan Higgins.
Jeez. I don't think we really talked about Dark Knight. We talked about Dark Knight 3 starting up, the Brian Azzarello and Kubert sequel to Frank Miller's Dark Knight, and number 1 did come out this past week. It's actually really good. It was a really good first issue. Yeah, I recommend people reading if they didn't get a chance to read it yet. But I wanted to say, and we'll talk about that more as more issues come in. But we did get one of the big book kind of for the local comic shop day was a exclusive variant cover to that. So good timing because it came out the same week as the main comic, and then clearly a lot of people here came just for that. So yeah,
you still have that one, yeah?
Yeah, I still got a couple. Yeah, I still got a handful of copies.
Cool.
So. Yeah, I'm really curious to see how they're going to do this.
I do like the Rick and Morty and the Space Invader Sim treasury size books. They came out really nice.
Yeah, they did like old school classic treasury size, oversized books for Rick and Morty and Invader Zim. Yeah. So some companies really stepped up. Marvel put out a shitty Avengers variant for their shitty Avengers comic that's out right now.
You're the fucking worst.
It's not a great cover. Go look at it. It's really not. It's
Dude,
very
you would literally
boring.
never use those words for any DC book. You would those words you would never use. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Sure, it would if it sucked.
No.
I mean, half the books that came out of local comic shop days sucked. Some of those books we didn't sell a single copy except to the people who bought one of everything.
Dude,
right?
you would just never use that language about a DC book.
I could tell
troll ass comment.
I'm with Bryce on this one. I'm sorry, Higgins.
Dude, you just never would. Don't deny it.
About a DC thing that
makes
sucks?
you more of an ass to deny it.
Plenty of DC things that suck.
Dude, you would never use that language,
but yeah, you don't diss it like that.
Do you want to hear about something that I can't possibly imagine going wrong, and I'm sure in real life is actually going to be really, really sucky, and it's all about DC?
That's the most convoluted, backhanded,
Today, DC Comics launched their YouTube fan channel.
What?
They launched, fans can now submit videos to DC under a number of different categories, and they're going to be on their DC fan channel for YouTube, so promoting various DC things. They're going to have ones for cosplayers, ones for toy reviews, ones for, cosplay, freestyle.
Wait. So they're asking fans to bring the content that they're going to be making money on.
You know it.
Are they going to make? How do you monetize on that?
YouTube.
Just ads.
Yeah. So are the fans going to make any money?
No, probably not.
Aren't those ad spaces or ad times propagated on how many clicks they get?
Yeah. So if it's on a DC, they'll get the clicks, but
right. But do you think that much traffic goes through DC cosplay freestyle?
The more videos you have up, the more clicks you're getting.
Yeah.
So they have cosplay, freestyle, which is brings to light the fun and imaginative ways for fans to go all in on DC. DC How To, which is about foods, toys, and more.
Wait, did you say food?
Foods, toys, and more. Kind of crafty, like crafts. DC
You
University.
did hear food, though, right?
Yeah, like Martian Manhunter eating Oreos.
It says
that's going to be what I bring to that
channel. It says DC How To lets fans get crafty with food, toys, and more. That's what it says.
Food, toys, and more.
DC University.
Some sort of porn thing.
Yes.
DC University is a place where fans explore the past, present, and future of the entire DC multiverse. DC Collections lets fans show off their comic collectibles and other cool DC collections. DC Reads brings the discussions around DC Comics to life. And DC Fans of the Weeks highlights a few of our favorite videos from the other 6 categories. And then there's also DC Verified Fans, in which, paid people will be involved, paid reviewers, verified
the official
content.
guys.
So is that 6 channels?
It's 9 channels. This is
9?
It's cosplay, freestyle, how to,
no fan films?
collection, reads, fan of the week, and verified. So
no fan films though, huh?
Maybe that's coming. Well, that's probably the craft one, right?
Dude, how
this is going?
Are they getting so many hashtags or whatever that they felt the need to diversify? 8 channels, dude. You can't keep up 8 channels if there's no additional content.
In one way, it's cool that DC's doing it because fans get to do what they want to do with the DC brand and be official about it.
Yeah.
On the other hand, does that mean they're going to shut down everything else?
Well, no.
Is the common fan that wants to do a DC review or do a fan film going to get shut down by DC because they should go through this?
No, it's going to be a bunch of goddamn mouth breathers that are like, so here's my Wonder Woman. Here's my review of Wonder Woman. 45.
What the fuck?
And that's what the fucking
about?
it's going to be fucking 90 YouTube channels about this.
It is not.
This
what
is
the
going to
fuck
be
are you talking about? This is going to be curated by DC.
This is going to be
and Warner Brothers.
No. This is the content. No. This is the content.
You are fucking wildly wrong. This is going to be half curated and like. There's going to be half of it is going to be a bunch of cute chicks that have never read a comic book.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah, I think so too.
This is
Dude,
what
you're crazy.
This is what they are going to receive. I didn't say this is what's going to be on the channel.
That's not what you said, though.
This is what they're going to receive.
Well, we can both agree on that. Okay.
This is going to be such a disaster, and I feel so bad for people who have to work on this.
I feel bad for the guy who has to go through all of that.
Right, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. This is, again, cool in theory, but man, oh boy.
What they're going to receive? How is that even like a declaration? Of course they're going to receive that.
Yeah.
This is like what they're going to produce. Of what they're going to show off isn't going to be that at all.
Toby's going to send us his Dick Grayson fan film over.
I'm doing that right now.
So anyway, I just wanted to say that. So if you make shitty YouTube videos, make sure to send them to DC because they're taking
Dude, speaking
orders.
of awesome DC videos,
can we submit Higgins versus Larsen?
Maybe.
They were like, no, someone hates it, so we can't do it.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get denied because one of those haters hates Man of Steel.
Real quick, I do want to say since we're talking about DC here, let's talk about some DC TV stuff really quick. No big news. Supergirl got picked up for 20 episodes, additional 7 episodes, so that brings it to basically a full season for
20.
season 1. Yeah.
I thought it was
a little below.
Not 22, but 18. I think this brings it to 20.
Yeah.
So 18 to 20.
It's like 2 or 4 shy of a full season.
18 to 22 is now considered a full season.
Is it?
Actually,
the article that you linked me said that it was actually not a full season, Ryan Higgins.
Anyway, and despite lots of rumors over the past week about a Flash and Supergirl crossover, the original one I read was that Iris...
Despite the Ryan Higgins boner... That was the Flash and Supergirl crossover, cross networks, which is improbable and inconceivable.
They did it with Buffy and Angel.
They did.
Yeah. They were on different networks.
Wait, have we? I feel like we talked about this.
Yeah,
before.
I'm sure we did.
I thought that they were both on CW though.
No,
I feel like we've also had this argument.
They both
before.
started on CW, but one stayed and one went away.
They weren't both on CW.
Not at the end.
Anyway, the original rumor I read.
That's different than this, which is like 2 different camps.
The original
that situation I don't know because they started in one and then went separate. It's kind of like I don't know. But
the original rumor I heard
is that
was
you had a huge boner for this possible crossover.
That's not a rumor.
I do have that huge boner too. I just want to add that.
The original rumor I heard was that they were going to have Iris West, who's a reporter on Supergirl again because she works in the newspaper and all that. It's kind of like a test. Okay. And this all happened after the Arrow episode of Constantine came out that was really successful.
Did you hear this other rumor?
And now
I'm being a mouth breather right now. Did you hear this other rumor, Ryan?
And now there's talk also of a second season of Legends of Tomorrow with other characters, being John Constantine being one of the characters.
Yeah,
so I would love all this to happen, but at least for right now...
Do you want to talk about the reality of the rumors?
The showrunners...
oxymoron, I think.
Came out and said, as of right now, there is no plan for a Flash and Supergirl crossover.
Boom. So I also want to tell your beloved listeners how there's no plans for a second season of Legends of Tomorrow.
Again, it is like Agent Carter, which I do not believe was ever said there was going to be a second season until it aired. This is a mid-season kind of tie-in, little fill-in miniseries, much like Agent Carter. Yeah. If it's successful, I'm sure they'll do more.
Or we have something else, like Raven the Ball next year.
Sure, just something similar.
But I heard that Legends of Tomorrow is way more expensive than Agent Carter, so they could do an Agent Carter quote unquote season 2 way more easily.
I mean,
I don't know if that's star power or production value. I have no idea.
That new trailer for Legends of Tomorrow, I mean, the effects are legit. It looks really, really good, and they're not fucking around with the effects. Like, it's big stuff. So
I don't give a fuck. I tell you what, I tone down the effects for Agent Carter so that I can get twice so much Agent Carter as long as it's a good story.
Well, Agent Carter was
fuck about special
I like
effects.
Agent Carter.
Oh, I like Agent Carter a lot.
Me too.
Yeah.
Oh, Jessica Jones. Hey, have you seen, you bastard, have you seen more Supergirl or more Jessica Jones?
I have absolutely seen more Jessica Jones. Supergirl is so hard to watch.
I want to hear this trolls.
I only haven't seen, well, technically I didn't watch technically I didn't watch last week's or tonight's episode of Supergirl yet. So yes, I am 2 episodes back on Supergirl. I've only seen the first episode of Jessica Jones so far.
So how many Supergirl episodes is that, you bastard?
Like 4 or 5.
God damn it.
I like Supergirl. It's fun. Jessica Jones I watched with Leanne, though. She wants to watch it. And we don't have as much
same with Kelly.
together TV time. So, but we're...
how do you not have that much together TV time?
But we have other stuff we watch, so it's
Like
just...
what? Dancing with the fucking stars?
What? No, it's in the rotation.
It is in the rotation?
No, Jessica Jones. I like a bunch
Jessica
of...
Jones
like,
should be in the fucking rotation.
yeah,
It's great.
Yeah. So...
As of episode 1, it was great.
Leanne doesn't like Supergirl?
Nah, she didn't like it. No, episode 1 of Jessica Jones was awesome. Our plan, we talked about this before the podcast. I think our plan is on the December 15th episode. That's kind of our goal as a podcast to have a full spoiler cast for Jessica Jones.
Awesome.
So that kind of gives me a 2-week. It gives me a little bit of reason to speed through this. So
also means I have to finish
There's
the
no way you'll
omnibus.
finish it, Mister.
Oh, sure.
I got to finish the omnibus before then, too.
Hopefully we can.
Dude, so last night when I went to see Spectre, I saw it with my buddy who's like this not comic book fan at all.
Yeah.
And he was asking me all about Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. like still good? He's saying it's better than ever.
Dude, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. season, whatever the fucking current season on, it's been fucking on.
He said that there's a fucking stone that eats people and sends them to the other side of the universe.
Dude, this season...
He got me more interested than like...
I've been telling this on this podcast.
Dude, I
hated Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. seasons whatever to whatever. The current season that's on air right now is freaking good.
Dude, he's telling me, and he's not a comic book fan, and I like... It's so fascinating. I almost wish that we had the patience to get like non-comic book fans to guest star on this podcast, because like his perspective was, he's like, wait, so would Iron Man and Wolverine ever actually meet each other in their universe? And it's like, bro, I cannot do about this without fully outing myself as the biggest comic book nerd. Like, yes, I said.
Does he not know?
He has an idea. He got me Justice League Volume 1 for my birthday. The Jim Lee.
Did he spit on it and throw it in the trash?
No.
Bryce, he might have jinxed this game, man. It's 104 to 103.
I wiped my ass with
16
it.
seconds to go.
What do you mean I jinxed it? They were losing when I looked at it, and now they're winning.
Jinxed it.
You're an asshole.
Sure I am.
They were losing when I looked at it.
Watch
you
ears,
know I
everyone.
talked about it earlier?
Yes.
Anyway, so I was talking to him a little bit, but he was fucking fascinated. But he was like so enamored with this like Inhuman mythology, and I was like, bro, I can't even talk to you about this because like Inhumans,
it'll be the rest of the week
that Marvel wishes like they had X-Men rights, but Fox has them, and they're getting like Spider-Man like licensing. Otherwise, they wouldn't even use Spider-Man, and so now they're gonna have Spider-Man in the story. And
let's be honest here, though, Inhumans that felt differently back then when they still had all the mutants running around. They were not a mutants like shoehorn into the replacement.
Oh, you mean back when they originally came out?
Yeah,
before
they actually felt like
shoehorning them in.
Yeah, they felt
you're
totally
right.
different, right? I mean,
They
now
were
they're
totally different, and now they are shoehorning them in.
Yeah.
And now it is the worst.
Yes, I agree.
Yep.
But this season
second worst. Ryan Higgins is the worst.
But this season has been phenomenal. I have to give my hats down to this season of Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D.
For those of you out there listening to, like, if you're ever trying to plan your life, Ryan Higgins last week was like, okay, Tuesday podcast, and then, okay, Monday podcast, like, midweek, and then it's like, okay, and then he's like, oh, no, just kidding, it's next week is Monday, okay, no, it's Tuesday, no, it's Monday again, so he's just... he's been the worst in terms of scheduling podcasts. Plus, he likes DC more than Marvel, which makes him the worst.
So, Twitter, we got a few Twitter questions here.
Oh, dude, I have
let's
Twitter
hit up a
questions
few
too.
of these. You have Twitter questions?
I have like one or two. You probably caught
Are you
them.
tweeting him right now?
I'm gonna tweet him about how he's the worst.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna have let's do a question.
2 seconds left in Curry's shooting free throws.
Holy shit! I have a couple questions.
So I got one here from Timothy.
105,
on Twitter.
103.
They won?
No, not yet. The free throws, no seconds are counting.
I have a question here from Timothy. I'll do this quick so I don't bore Bryce too long.
Oh, let me guess. Are you going to recite every comic book, every delayed date ever?
No, he likes numbers, so he's going to recite all the numbers.
I like numbers. I hate it when he recites like the specific dates of every single issue.
So Timothy asks, sell me on a few titles, and I will now sell you on a few titles.
Oh, I was copied on this. I can answer this better than you can.
Sandman. Sandman is a 75-issue plus a few specials by Neil Gaiman and a host of different people.
Yeah, this part I can't sell you on.
Widely considered one of the most important comics ever published, and I totally agree with that.
No.
Widely.
Top 20, not top 5.
I can have a whole podcast about why Sandman's one of the most important comics ever. We've talked about this in the past. It is also...
It'll be a bunch of fucking woof barf by Ryan Higgins.
It is also my personal...
It is a really good book. It is just, Ryan will put it in the top 3 ever. It's actually like a top 20 or 30 ever.
It is not top 3. It is my favorite comic of all time.
Well, that means nothing. Man of Steel was your... I'm sorry. Somebody asked us not to talk about
Sandman is my favorite comic of all time. So on that alone, I give it the highest recommendation I possibly can. I give money-back guarantees to all my customers that have bought stuff here from it, and I've never had to take one back. So,
Dude, I fucking...
It's because you wouldn't take it back.
Of course I would. If someone was like, I really don't like this, my suggestion for Sandman is always the same.
I've tried.
Read 2 volumes.
I have it at home. It's brand new still.
The first volume is a little bit different than the rest of the series. If you like both or either, keep reading. If you really don't like either, then you're probably good.
Dude, I
will
Sandman. Give Sandman 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Sandman's legit. Sandman's good.
Alan Moore's Promethea. I actually have not read that entire series. Beautiful, beautiful art by J.H. Williams. What I read I liked, but I actually never finished it. So it's Alan Moore, so you can't go wrong. Saga of the Swamp Thing, that's the Alan Moore Swamp Thing. Sandman would not exist if not for Swamp Thing. Alan Moore was solely responsible, well, not solely, but he was the impetus for DC to search on more creators like like Neil Gaiman, Grant Morrison. All these guys that came over was because of what Alan Moore did. Alan Moore, widely regarded as one of the best comic artists of all time. Swamp Thing was his first major work for American Comic Company. One of the best books DC has ever published. One of my personal favorites. Again, if you like horror, can't go wrong. And Animal Man by Grant Morrison's run on Animal Man. Again, you're talking my language. One of my absolute favorite comics. One of my favorite writers. That's his very first American comic work. It's short. It's 3 volumes. You're in, you're out. It doesn't, you don't need to know anything else about what's going on. There's not a ton of backstory. The character before Grant Morrison took over was really... He'd been in like only a handful of comics. So Grant Morrison created Animal Man for all intents and purposes because he was in so few comics prior, and they really had nothing to do with what Morrison did. So those are all good books to read. It's from Jason.
Okay.
It's from Hold on. It's from Jason.
Why do you get to go twice in a row?
Because he also wants some recommendations, and he wants recommendations for the new Star Wars comics from Marvel.
But you're doing 2 in a row. I can't go in between.
I've got a lot of questions, Gibby.
I have just as many questions.
You had a lot of answers about X-Men 600. All I want to do is say, since we're talking about recommendations of Star Wars
people
comics...
are listening during the podcast?
No. What? There's questions on Twitter. So, Jason wants some recommendations for new Star Wars comics. My recommendation is, since I've read all of them except for Kanan, they are all really good. You literally cannot go wrong with any of them. Star Wars and Vader are the best.
Wait, the Kanan one's written by Greg Weisman.
Yeah, I need to read it.
You're not reading that one?
I just haven't read it. Yeah. Star Wars and Vader are both awesome. The miniseries have all been good to great. So, you cannot go wrong.
Can't believe you're not
Bryce.
reading
Is it my turn?
Do you have a question?
Okay, so...
You can read a question now.
Yalzers says, with the departure of Kirkman and Remender, who are the top 5 writers at Marvel? And I said, Kirkman, Don't you mean Hickman? Which I assume he meant. Anyway, the top 5 writers at Marvel since...
Well, personally or, like, sales-wise?
I'm gonna trust. I'll talk enough to cover both. What is your problem?
Okay.
Did you want to answer sales-wise?
No, I'm just wondering, because there's different answers to that.
He has a fucking 140 characters to get this question in, bro. He had to copy me and you, which gives him like 20 characters left.
Well, there's three people that
I feel left out, yo.
There's 3 people that I feel are I would say undeniable, and then there are...
Okay, can I guess who they are?
Sure.
Sewell, Lemire, and Bendis.
Actually, only one of those was on my list. Bendis, Dan Slott...
And Jason. No. So he was going to be one of my other.
And Jason Aaron. They are not only well received critically,
so the
but
2
they
that
are
Ryan
also,
just said, and my 3 are the top 5.
Then there's your 5, Lemire and Sewell. Yeah, but that's fine.
Okay,
yeah, I'd be fine with that.
All right, so Ryan and I, for the 3rd time tonight, inexplicably agree.
Here's a question.
Hickman and Remender are out, but I'm telling you that Sewell and Lemire are going to be able to pick up the pace of prolification. Is that the right word?
So you want
but because Bendis is going to like fade into the background, because I don't know if he's getting old or if he's just getting worse in my own mind or imagination. I don't know, but like I feel like Lemire and Sewell have this like hunger about them that Bendis exhibited when he did Avengers Disassembled. I think that Dan Slott is just the fucking Claremont of Marvel right now, where he is just fucking solid, and he is like just knocking it out the park, and they put him on a title, and they just fucking left him alone in his sandbox, and he's fucking doing a great, great job. And then Jason Aaron, similar, in that they've left him alone to do what he will do. I do feel like he's capable of doing more, whatever that was, Secret Identity comics. He's more capable than Slott of doing a line-wide arc, but not as capable as Lemire or Sewell, in my opinion, based on, obviously limited information. But those are my top 5. I think that, excuse me, I think that Nesesia sticking with Marvel is awesome. I think that Abnett sticking with Marvel is awesome. I think that they will be able to get out some great books. I don't think that they're able to get out books in the capacity or on the regular that the previous 5 have been able to do. I think that, what's his name? Peter David, same thing. He's great, but, he's good for like 1 comic a month. He sticks to his thing, blah, 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 blah. But those 5 are my 5. Boom, next question, Bryce. Oh, no, sorry, it's Ryan's turn because I share. My son is so cute. He's 3.5 years old, and we bribe him with toys to say sharing is caring at preschool so that he stops hitting kids and actually like shares the toys that he gets. It's like the worst situation ever. Those parents of you out there can probably, hopefully, Jesus, acknowledge like it's tough raising kids and teaching them to share, because he's a little brat when he doesn't share. And I don't want to turn this into the parenting conspiracy, but like, dang, he's hella like, oh no,
you should teach him by sharing the audio time on this episode to the other people in the podcast.
You know who he wouldn't learn that from is you. So why don't you go ahead?
I have a question here from, and of course, Twitter handles always make things weird when it's not a random name, a real name. Problematic Cartoon. We've gotten some questions from him before. I assume him. It's a dog picture with a glowing green eye, so I don't know, evil dog maybe. Anyway, they ask...
No, that's the Flash. It's a picture of his adorable dog.
Is there a precedence for the switcheroo of content in Justice League of America #5, which shipped this past week? How do you feel as a retailer? As a reader, I'm done. I'm assuming he means with the series. So for those who don't know, Justice League America #5 was initially delayed. They switched the content of all the issues back in issue, meaning they had to change up the variant covers and a bunch of weird stuff. So there was a month delay. And then the issue when it shipped, they announced days before shipping that, oh yeah, it's a totally different comic book by a totally different creative team. We just shoved it in. It's called Justice League of America. As a retailer, I'm not too worried about it because the issue is fully returnable. DC is, obviously, they screwed up really bad with this and are making it fully returnable, so we're not getting stuck with copies. But at the same point, I've heard many people like you that said, yeah, I'm just off the book because fucking Brian Hitch is another series just gone by the wayside that he's super late on and everything's really delayed. And, we've seen this before. I talked to Dan Didio at DC Comics earlier this year when I was there for the retailer meeting when they announced Justice League of America. And I said, awesome. How many issues has Brian Hitch done? How many are in the can? And if you go back, I probably talked about this. His answer was, well, he's been working on the book for 2 years. So we're a good way into it. And I replied, so how many issues are done?
You fucking troll.
Because working on it for 2 years with Brian fucking Hitch means nothing, right?
Dude, Brian Hitch, any artist.
Brian Hitch, he's one of the worst in recent years.
Dude, you're the worst. Brian Hitch is like second worst, tied for second with like a bunch of other great artists who have too many projects.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. So this was a 6-issue arc.
I'm agreeing with.
A 6-issue arc that he was writing and drawing, and he's been working on it for almost 3 years at this point, and we got 3 issues in, and now 4, who even knows. So it's very unfortunate. It's really annoying. DC should know better. DC's had a ton of
shady shit going to happen.
Well, they have their previews that come out every week of all their upcoming books, and they go, oh, this book is actually now drawn by these 17 people, and this book is now drawn by these 32 people, and it's like, what is going on at DC where they can't keep any of their artists? Are they switching the stories around constantly
that's
on them?
Be just because they moved and they're still settling the ship.
Is weird stuff. He also asks, do you think there's a special amount of shade about the Dark Knight 3 credits? And again, we talked about this the last couple of weeks. But,
totally.
But no, this is a case of they put Frank Miller's name on it because it sells, but Frank Miller has nothing to do with the comic.
Exactly.
And yeah, it's
and now he wants to make his own.
Yeah, now he wants to make Dark Knight 4, which is okay. Good luck, Frank. I'm sure it'll happen because that Sin City sequel happened, and that 300 sequel happened, and no, it'll never happen.
What are you talking about?
No,
both of those did.
The comic. No, he was supposed to. No, he was supposed to. No, the 300 sequel never happened. Comic.
Yes, it.
Comic. And the Sin City, he was supposed to do a new series of comics for the new movie, and they never came out.
All right,
so
fair enough.
Yeah,
that was a weird alternate reality spin
because
on
both
Brian.
of those did happen in the real world, just not in the comic world. Okay,
yeah. So good luck, Frank Miller. Do Dark Knight 4. But no, just Dark Knight 3 is really good. It has nothing to do with Frank Miller is barely involved.
Spoiler fucking alert. If this sells really well, they will do Dark Knight 4.
Sure, they should. And other people should do it, not Frank Miller.
Then Frank
Whatever.
will do
He'll get
Dark
just
Knight
as much
5.
credit as he did for this one.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm totally fine with that. Yeah.
Whatever, dude.
Did you have any more questions, Bryce?
So I had a question about Timothy, but I feel like this is more of a sympathy question, Timothy, that you only asked me because I called you out. I'm not sure that you actually meant it. I've never read an X book in my life. Timothy, come on. How is that even possible? Only seen the movies. Now really, seriously, how is that possible?
That's possible if he never seen a cartoonist when we start talking.
Timothy, also your photo's blurry, but you look like a gentleman that could use a good X book. What's a good story that's relatively standalone to start with? Timothy, look, dude, pick up, let's see, a really good standalone X book. You know what, Timothy? Let me look at the trades. I can't pick up the microphone because Ryan will get mad. 1 second.
You can't pick up the microphone because the microphone's not wireless. I will recommend, even though I'm not the biggest fan of it, I know people that really like it because it is extremely standalone, and that's Old Man Logan by our good friend Mark Miller.
Nope.
But
that's your good friend.
If
your bestest friend.
You don't need to know.
The reason that's not a good idea is because it's not a standalone X-Men book. That is a great story of Wolverine by himself. He's asking for
Hawkeye.
An X book, like if he wants representation of the X-Men.
Wolverine's an X-Man.
If you want a single X character's good story, yeah, that is true. That is a great story. But if you want a good X-Men book,
I would say the two Joss Whedon Astonishing X-Men.
Those are great standalone.
Because
what are you talking about? Those are great. The Joss Whedon X-Men, Astonishing X-Men.
There's a couple things in it that I don't. I think it's mostly great. I think there's a couple things that maybe I'd say bugged me a little bit about it. But he did a good job of creating new characters.
Yeah.
I like Danger. I like Shield or Sword.
Okay.
What's her name?
Brand. Asia Brand. I like her a lot. And you don't need to know
It was a nice
much.
jumping on point.
Yeah.
It was a real nice jumping on point. I have to say that, yeah.
If you have at least a vague idea of who these characters are, I feel like they do a good job of explaining everything within context. It really was made for, I don't want to say new readers, but it really was
It really was for new readers.
It really was a very casual X-Men book. It's not like steeped in a ton of continuity, which is a good thing for a lot of people.
Yeah, Timothy, unfortunately, your question, as genuine as it was, it doesn't really work in terms of, there's so many, like, what do you mean standalone? Do you mean, like, you know, X-Men as a team, or like an X-book like Wolverine is enough for you, which, you know, Ryan rightly said Old Man Logan. Do you mean like a team book? Are you looking for something from the 2000s, in which case I think the whole Manifest Destiny trilogy was fucking like the best thing that's been created by for the X-Men in the past fucking forever? Or do you mean you know, Anytime is good, in which case like Executioner's Song was good, Extinction Agenda was really good, and these are all really good sort of standalone stories. If you can, I mean, you ask in your question for you know, a standalone story. I mean, what is a standalone story in comics? Can you handle like a story that you can pick up and read by itself? Yes, but you have to be willing to suspend your disbelief, which you frankly have to do for any comic book ever. But anyway, the Manifest Destiny trilogy is great. I was just talking shit about Bendis, but the Bendis story, the future one, what the fuck was it called? I'm fucking brain farting on it. If you Google Bendis X-Men trade paperback on Amazon.com, it'll
like the Battle of the Atom stuff.
Yes, thank you. Battle of the Atom. There was a pretty good story about that the past couple of years. There's a bunch of good ones. I'll tell you right now, fucking as much as I hate Ryan Higgins, the Grant Morrison X-Men was really good. But that's like...
It's because it's a lot of new characters.
That's a lot of new characters. But that's what makes it kind of standalone really well.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
But that's not like a single story. He has like 3 or 4 like solid arcs in there.
Well, if you liked, if you liked the X-Men movies and you liked The Wolverine, definitely read the first Frank Miller, Chris Claremont Wolverine miniseries. Again, not the X-Men, but
it's not the fucking X-Men.
It is standalone. Okay, you have the X-Men, then you have Wolverine, and then you have all the X-Men characters. Like Wolverine is, I mean, he's the X-Men, right?
Yeah.
So,
anyway, that's your question. But even though I still think, Timothy, you only asked me that out of sympathy for me calling you out on reading more Marvel stuff. Problematic Cartoon said, Ryan sent me a couple questions about some shady stuff DC pulled lately. I guess we kind of addressed that.
Yeah.
But Ryan doesn't like to talk about the shady nature of DC.
I just talked about Justice League and Dark Knight.
I can't get enough ribbing in, so I'm just going to bring it up as I'm going through my feed. Rigo is upset that I'm so angry at Marvel. Rigo, sorry I'm not sorry. Marvel has really shot the bed with this X-Men 600. Let's see here. Very evil Marauder says, I think when I visit my LCS, Walking Dead Abd Starfire may be all that I keep in my pull, and Star Wars. Well, Very evil Marauder, that's, you know, some of the worst selections you could do, because there's no true Marvel books in there, not including Star Wars. So, you know, good luck. And then lastly, 3 minutes ago, this I have to hear. Oh, because I'm angry about Marvel. Yeah, okay. I'm all caught up.
And now we are done. Good thing you got those questions in. Thank you, everyone, for listening to this episode. It extended Bryce briefly. Bryce says lots of anger issues. He's got to get it out.
I do have lots of anger issues. By the way, how annoying is Karnak #1, where it's like, okay, Warren Ellis, you're a great writer.
I love Karnak #1.
It was great, but I don't think that's fucking Karnak, unless he's having like a midlife crisis,
sure.
Which is very possible and fair.
No, it's just Warren Ellis doing what Warren Ellis wants to do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's exactly Warren Ellis doing what Warren Ellis does.
Yeah,
And it's
sure.
like, ugh, Warren Ellis, stop being such a fucking good writer that I actually have to pay attention to this. What else is good?
We have to thank...
Vision was incredible.
Vision was incredible. We have, of course, what else is good is our wonderful backers on Patreon. At patreon.com/comicconspiracy. Our good friend Albert Soy and his app Plant Everywhere. Don't forget to check that out on iTunes. And Jody Lawson and his Canon, the Triad Comics Anthology at triadcomicsstudios.com. Make sure to please check those guys out. We appreciate their Patreon bucks every month, as well as everyone that donates on Patreon. If you want to have your name or a product you're involved with, you want us to pimp something, patreon.com/comicconspiracy, and there's a couple options on there. Back this podcast on there, and helps us pay for our hosting, repairs to all the equipment Ryan Scott had to buy a few weeks ago, or a month or two ago. We didn't pay for that, but the Geekbox Patreon did. And yeah, everything.
What, new cables?
Yeah, you got some new cables. We got they're kind of shittier than the last ones, but they work. The other ones weren't working anymore.
Yeah.
So don't forget to go to geekbox.net to hear this episode and all our previous episodes, as well as iTunes, where you can rate and review us. Forums.geekbox.net and the Geekbox and Comic Conspiracy Facebook group. That's where you can go to talk to all our lovely listeners. Go on there and chat them up. I hear they're talking about a certain teaser for a certain trailer we're getting on Wednesday, which we are not talking about this episode.
Oh, maybe we'll talk about it in a future minisode?
Maybe next week.
Oh.
Digital.comicsconspiracy.biz. Oh, and I totally was going to talk about The Walking Dead mid-season, but Charlie and Brock aren't here, and Toby, did you watch it yet?
Because I watch it on the app, so I have to wait a day, so I'll watch it tonight.
So next week we will talk about The Walking Dead mid-season finale.
And then what, the 18th for Jessica Jones?
For everyone asking.
And then the 18th for Jessica Jones of when?
15th?
15th?
I believe the plan is for 2 episodes from now, Jessica Jones spoiler.
So next week, Walking Dead, and then Jessica Jones after?
I hope I can catch up. We'll see.
You're fucking such a terrible human being. You are almost caught up with Supergirl, but you won't watch Jessica Jones.
Too much shit
By the way,
do.
that is a way better show than Supergirl.
It was a really good first episode. Absolutely.
Ugh.
I don't argue that it's better than Supergirl. I just like Supergirl. Here's the thing.
Tell me the thing.
Jessica Jones, Daredevil, Walking Dead, these are from heavy fucking shows.
Yep, that's
Supergirl,
totally accurate.
Flash, Green Arrow, very light.
Mindless, fluffy, and fun.
Exciting.
Yeah.
And a Half-Naked Man.
42 minutes, in and out, done.
And Half-Naked Man.
Jessica Jones, I was like...
There's Half-Naked Man in that one, too.
Yeah.
Dude, Jessica Jones is
I'm like,
heavy.
that's a heavy
Legit.
show.
Yep.
It's a great show, but heavy. Hard to watch more than an episode at a time. I can't do this thing where people watch like 12 episodes in a day. I can't do this thing where people watch
what the fuck? You're talking to 2 people who 2 weeks later haven't finished the 12 episodes either.
But
By
also,
the way, it's 10, not 12.
I don't even think I can watch like 4 episodes in a day. Like I'm not. I have a hard time doing that. I never marathon stuff.
Yeah, no,
so
me neither. I do 2 max per day.
Yeah,
I do like 4.
Yeah, I have a hard time with that.
But then I have to rewatch the later 2 or 1 because I fell asleep.
You fell asleep, yeah. I watched a 45-minute episode of Gotham and I fall asleep during the back 2/3 of it, and I have to rewatch it again. So
at least you're caught up on sleep.
Oh, yeah, I wish. Digital.comicsconspiracy.biz. That's our digital website for comic books. You can go on there, buy through Comixology. It's all linked to the same account. Patreon.com/comicconspiracy. Once again, go on there, donate some money. ConspiratorBrock.com. That's Brock's blog. I think he's on next week. Charlie's got the Infinite Longbox podcast and Wanderers in the Fourth Dimension podcast. Doctor Who. I heard this last episode was fantastic, but I'm not caught up on Doctor Who either. I didn't watch this week's episode. Hey, where's my Doctor Who Blu-rays? Bring those back. I need space in my shelf.
You need space on your shelf, so I shouldn't bring them back.
I need to make sure the space is still there.
It's correct.
Yeah, other things have come and kind of filled that space. I need to reposition.
I literally made sure those were safe and untouched this weekend.
Okay, good.
Hey Ryan, were we going to say what your Black Friday plunders were? What's your favorite thing you bought?
My favorite thing I bought on Black Friday?
Yeah, just do your favorite. Fuck the plunder.
Blunder?
What? Well, just
plunder. He said plunder.
Just your favorite thing.
Well, I've been putting together a new.
He understands me.
I think you said blunder. I've been putting together a new computer, so I bought the vast majority of my pieces on Black Friday. So
So you saved quite a bit of money then.
High-end computer stuff doesn't tend to get discounted quite as heavy.
You just happened to buy it on that day.
Some stuff did, some stuff didn't.
Okay.
Wait, for a particular game?
So just about every 4 or 5 years, I put together a new PC.
Yeah, you could just buy a Mac and be good for 10. No, I'm kidding.
But then I couldn't play any games on it, right?
He's a Mac hater.
I'm a fucking on board with Mac.
So that would be the EVGA 980 video card, not the TI.
Wait, but for not for Diablo. What for?
I'd buy.
There's got to be a game that you have in mind. Don't lie.
It's not a specific game. No, I buy.
What is in the back of your mind that you want to be?
No, seriously, nothing.
Is it Overwatch?
No, it's really nothing. But
It's
every
a new porn site that features Flash and Arrow together.
I was going to say, do you even know him? But that makes sense.
But every 4 or 5 years, I put together a new PC, and I don't buy the top of the line because fuck, I don't have like $10,000 for a computer. I kind of buy like the 1 or 2 steps below.
Okay.
And then it'll last me a good 4 or 5 years, and then I kind of max out the RAM,
and then you do it again.
And then I just end up giving the parts away or piecemealing another computer out, and then I do it again. So it's been almost 5 years. So I'm like, all right, it's time. So yeah, I mean, I got like Flash, Arrow, and Gotham for the new Blu-rays for $19.99 each on Amazon. That was a good deal.
That is a good deal. Good for you, Ryan Higgins.
Yeah, not too bad.
I still think that there's a game that you have in mind that you want to have this for.
No, not really. It's just I'm upgrading to Windows 10. I'm moving everything over to a solid state.
In what world do we live in that you live in the Bay Area, pay Bay Area cost of living, don't have a game that you're like looking towards like getting your computer for, and you're just like, yeah, I have money lying around.
He's waiting for.
Not only am I saving money, but I'm also gonna like buy this extra computer for this game that I have in mind.
He's waiting for Arkham, the new Arkham, to be actually fixed for PC.
Oh, I have a real question. I have a real question.
I got
of the last 2 Arkham games. I mean, it sounds like number 4, or maybe you call it 3, was better than 2.5 or 3, depending on how you want to say it. There's like that unofficial one, and then there was the actual third one. It sounds like neither one really rang your bell.
Gun to my head, I like Origins more than Arkham Knight.
Which is Origins?
The
2.5.
The fake third one you like better
gun to
than
your head, 2.5 was better than 3?
Really?
3 really pissed me off.
Really?
Arkham Knight really pissed me off.
Because he can't play it?
Don't give any spoilers. I haven't played it yet.
Oh.
I played it on PC, or PS4.
But I'm going to play one of them.
There's some bullshit in that game. The story's real bullshit. Like, you could tell the comic guys were not involved. Jeff Loeb was not involved in the story at all. And you could tell.
I should put in for
Jeff
a refund
Loeb?
because I haven't been able to fucking play it.
Not Jeff Loeb.
Jeff Johns?
I'm still mad that they said they were going to have a Mac version, and they didn't bother releasing a Mac version. I still can't play it.
Yeah,
I'm going to put in for a refund.
Get a fucking Xbone or fucking PS4.
No.
Dude, I've been playing Assassin's Creed Black Flag for literally over a year, and I'm almost done with it.
I have to say my favorite Black Friday purchase is fucking Mastermind. It's not even on sale. I just happened to find it at fucking Target on the Retro series. It's fucking the shit, dude. It's my favorite board game, like when I was a little kid.
Yeah, the old board game.
You mean like the push the button thing?
No, the one, with little pegs. You you have to figure out the colors and the order. Yeah. I fucking love that game.
How fucking random,
dude! Since I was 7 years old, I used to play with my god brother. I wanted it ever since. I didn't know it went out of print. I didn't know what the name of the game was, so I would go to
past Friday.
Yeah, and I was like, it had a like an 80s version, like retro series that came out, and I'm like, this is the fucking game, because I used to go to board game stores. I'm like, I want that game that look at me, fucking weirdo. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, I want the little colors. You put the little colors in the fucking holes.
I'm not about to give you that look.
Dude,
good for you. That's awesome.
Mastermind is the shit.
Should also
I'll download it onto my phone. I could play it.
Should also pimp my wonderful wife's Etsy store, etsy.com/shop.
That way. Okay.
Leanne Hill Art.
Doesn't she have to be on the podcast for you to pimp that shit?
Nah, it's fine. Whatever. Go buy some art from her.
He gets.
She sold a lot of stuff at I don't know what's going on now. She ended up selling a lot of stuff
that makes 2 of us,
Heroes and Villains Con, and I know a few people contacted me and said, "Oh, what's her link? I want to make sure to go to." So now I make sure to be a good husband and recommend you go if you like her art.
Husband,
and go
that's right.
Pick it up.
Dude, how has it been tough with the transition from girlfriend or
he had to work the con for the half of it. She was like, I'm sick, I'm going home. You got to take over and draw all these pictures for people.
Yeah, right. You don't want me drawing.
No, but I'm saying
the only hard part has been remembering to call her my wife and not my girlfriend. That's the only hard part.
You go 8 years?
15?
Did you go to ML go, this is my girlfriend? Oh, crap, I actually mean my wife.
I meant, obviously, only since the first 7. The past 8 years have been, my girlfriend, but now it's my wife.
Yeah.
Have you slipped up in front of her?
Oh, every time.
Really?
Yeah, every time. She does it too.
I
every
did that,
time.
but I was only dating Kelly for a couple of years.
Yeah, every time. On Twitter, I'm Ryan Higgins Ryan. Brock is Brock Sager. Bryce is Larsen Bryce. Toby is Toby XI. Charlie is Insanity and Chaos. Should have the whole crew back next week for a normal episode. Whatever's normal now. The Geekbox Comedy Button, Good Job Brain All Talk podcast. Make sure to go check those guys out. If you listen to All Talk, definitely make sure, or especially if you don't listen to All Talk, definitely make sure to listen this week as I am on your 200th episode that's going up on Tuesday. So, which is tomorrow morning as of the recording of this. So,
Wait, tomorrow is what?
Tuesday.
Oh, okay.
I'm just going to put this up tonight. So this is going up Monday, nice and early. So yeah, make sure to go check out All Talk podcast.
All Talk is
All
in the
Talk.
200.
Yeah,
Okay,
200th episode
The best podcasts go up the
congrats.
day that they record.
featuring
Yeah.
me and all the other people that are always on that. So it's a good
Sweet.
episode, a lot of fun. All right,
That was excellent.
We've been ending for like 90 minutes, so let's actually end this.
That's an
podcast.
exaggeration.
Goodbye.
Have we talked about how Marvel is better than DC? Have we?